Pauly's Pumpkin Party. Spirit Valley / Pauly's home / Pauly using his high-tech tablet. Pauly wanted to throw a surprise pumpkin party for his family and friends. Pauly went onto the Short Stream social media website, and he visited a brand new channel called Pumpkin Party Planners. Click the confirmation button and your live consultation will begin shortly, said Pauly as he read the advertisement out loud. Hello, Pauly, Crumpit, said the classy voice of the spooky old lady named Tallulah Pumpkingrave. You know my name, said Pauly as he gazed into the computer screen with the most curious look on his face. Please answer your living room's front door, said Avery Pumpkingrave. The front door, whispered Pauly. Next, the living room's front doorbell rang. No way, whispered Pauly as he slowly headed towards the living room's front door. They're here, said Pauly as he quickly gazed at the security camera screen on the wall. Hello, said Pauly as he slowly opened the front door. Mr. and Mrs. Pumpkingrave, said Avery with the biggest smile on his face. At your service, said Tallulah. Nice to meet you, said Pauly. You visited our channel because you wanted to throw the most fantastic pumpkin party, yes, said Avery. I do, actually, said Pauly. May we come and ask Tallulah? Come inside, please, said Pauly. Such a lovely home, said Avery as he and Tallulah lovingly gazed all around the house. Pauly, who's at the front door? Shouted Pauly's father named Wiley. The Pumpkin Party Planners are here, shouted Pauly. Pumpkin Party Planners, said Wiley as he entered the living room with the biggest smile on his face. Happy to meet you, said Avery as he nicely shook Wiley's hand. Likewise, said Wiley. Do we have guests? Asked Pauly's mother named Judy as she entered the living room. Pauly requested our extraordinary services with his pumpkin party, said Tallulah. You're really doing this, said Judy. Yeah, said Pauly with a cute smile on his face. A pumpkin party sounds totally amazing, said Pauly's sister named Crayola. Things are moving along so fast, said Pauly. You've seen nothing yet, whispered Avery to Pauly. I sense a great deal of talent in this family, said Tallulah as she gazed all around the room towards Pauly and his family. Let's start with Pauly, said Avery as he curiously gazed over towards Pauly. Well, during my virtual cadet classes, I won the Creative Marching Award, said Pauly. Additional credits earned, said Avery. 7, said Pauly. Fantastic, said Avery. We shall call you the Marching Prince, said Tallulah. That's so cool, said Crayola. You, sir, said Avery as he gestured over towards Wiley. I enjoy the art of storytelling, said Wiley. His title is, said Avery as he smiled over at Tallulah. The storyteller, said Tallulah. Each title overexcites me, said Avery with a huge smile on his face. I really enjoy coming up with them, said Tallulah as she giggled with her hand over her mouth. Judy raised her hand. Yes, said Avery. I sing along to the oldies in my car, on my way to work, or just traveling out and about, said Judy. You try, said Tallulah as she lovingly smiled over towards Avery. I title you as the songstress, said Avery. That's brilliant, said Tallulah as she high-fived Avery. It's my turn, said Crayola. What wonderful talent do you have? Asked Avery. I draw fantasy art on my bedroom walls, said Crayola. How does Van Gogh's sound? Asked Tallulah. I love it, said Crayola as she, along with Pauly, giggled and smiled. Rudger, shouted Avery and Tallulah as the family cat entered the living room. Rudger raced over towards Avery and Tallulah. You know Rudger, said Pauly. We Pumpkingraves share a bond with all magical cats, said Tallulah. Magical cats, whispered Crayola towards Pauly. Are they kind to you? Whispered Avery. Yes, whispered Rudger. Good, whispered Tallulah. Okay, your pumpkin party consultation has officially concluded, said Avery as he nicely shook Pauly's hand. Your pumpkin party guest invitations have gone out already, said Tallulah. Nice, said Pauly. Now, if you will direct your attention over there. You'll find your pumpkin party trunk, said Avery as he gestured over towards an old trunk that now sat in the middle of the living room's floor. Wait, what? Said Pauly as he along with his family playfully rushed over towards the old trunk. There's something inside for each of you, said Tallulah as she handed Pauly a magical key. Open it, said Crayola with the biggest smile on her face. Sure, said Pauly as he playfully inserted the key into the trunk's keyhole. The trunk opened and various items magically floated out of the trunk. It's a marching baton and a militant-looking marching suit, said Pauly. You shall creatively march your party guest around the house during their party tour, said Avery. So, we each get to use our talents for the pumpkin party, said Pauly. Indeed, said Avery. I got a phoenix feather, said Crayola. Phoenix feathers have many magical properties, said Tallulah. This cocktail dress is simply gorgeous, said Judy as she adored the dress in front of a full-length mirror. Now there should be lyrics somewhere, whispered Avery as he curiously peeped inside of the trunk. There you are, said Avery as a magical scroll suddenly flew out of the trunk. The scroll flew over towards Judy. It's the lyrics to the song I Put a Spell on You, said Judy as she read the lyrics on the scroll. Surely you know this one, said Avery. Oh boy, do I, said Judy. You got a book, Dad, said Pauly. It's the Grim Tales of Grimace, the Pumpkin Hater, said Wiley as he held up the front cover of the large book. So, Grimace hates anything made with pumpkin, said Pauly. I have the perfect spot on my bedroom wall to draw Grimace, said Crayola. Front and center, please, shouted Avery. Pauly along with his family playfully raced over, and they stood directly in front of Avery. We're moving right along into Pumpkination, said Avery, as he quickly removed a magical object from his pocket called a pumpkin decor stylosaur. Pumpkination, whispered Pauly with the biggest smile on his face over towards Crayola. I know, right, said Crayola. We purchased it at the Fifth Realm store, said Tallulah as she nicely gestured over towards the stylosaur. Now, let the Pumpkination begin, said Avery as he pointed the stylosaur over towards Pauly along with his family, thus they each transformed into their pumpkin party costumes. No way, said Pauly with the biggest smile on his face. As he adored the marching baton in his hand as he now wore the militant marching suit. It fits me perfectly, said Judy as she adored the cocktail dress that she now wore. Check out Dad, said Pauly as he pointed over towards Wiley, who was now dressed like a famous book writer. It's lovely, said Crayola as she adored her beautiful ballroom dress in the full-length mirror. It's a fairy tale princess dress, said Tallulah. There's more Pumpkination, shouted Avery as he carefully waved the stylosaur all around the room, thus the entire house magically transformed into the most magnificent Halloween fun house. The entire house was now decorated with pumpkin-inspired decorations. There were various types of pumpkin foods all over the house. Friendly creatures, monsters, ghosts, etc., each dressed in Halloween costumes was now scattered all throughout Pauly's house. The fantastic reactions from Pauly along with his family was filled with joy and laughter as they cheered and applauded. Your pumpkin party guest will start arriving in 7 minutes, said Tallulah. I need the biggest fantasy-looking door on the front of that pantry over there, said Avery, as he gestured over towards a huge pantry door. "I totally got this," said Crayola as she playfully raced over towards the pantry door with the phoenix feather in her hand. "You'll be standing outside, wearing your lovely cocktail dress, singing as the party guest arrives," said Tallulah. "Got it," said Judy as she raced out the front door. "I'll be waiting right here," said Pauly as he quickly stood near the front door. "Add a bit of hip-hop to your creative marching," "Yes," whispered Tallulah. "Sure thing," said Pauly as he smiled from ear to ear. "Through the magical door is the realm in which you will share the tale of," said Avery as he quickly escorted Wiley over towards the pantry door. "Grimace, the pumpkin hater," said Wiley. "Precisely," said Avery. "It's showtime," shouted Tallulah as she quickly checked the magical pocket watch she held in her hand. As Judy sang, "I Put a Spell on You," in the front yard, 3 of her co-workers arrived along with their teenage sons and daughters. Next, 5 members of Wiley's VIP short stream channel. Called Stories by Wiley, cheered and applauded as they crossed the street towards Pauly's house. Afterward, teenage girls dressed like fairy tale princesses giggled as they raced down the sidewalk towards Pauly's house. Pauly's favorite math teacher, Miss Baylor, had the most joyful look on her face as she stepped out of a futuristic hover cab. Pauly's best friend, named Davy Peets, chatted live on his short stream channel as he hurried down the street towards Pauly's house. "The virtual party invite said for me to be here. Contact my fellow virtual cadets and go live on my short stream channel," said Davy. "Bro, Pauly is totally winning Best Pumpkin Party of the Year," said Davy as he couldn't believe his eyes. Lastly, dozens of Pauly's neighbors who heard all the singing and joyous laughter quickly joined the massive crowd out front of Pauly's house. As planned, Pauly creatively marched the pumpkin party guests through the house. The guests ate various pumpkin foods. They giggled and laughed as they interacted with the various creatures, monsters, ghosts, etc., scattered all throughout the house. The party guest went through the magical pantry door, and Wiley read the grim story of Grimace, the pumpkin hater. However, a surprise performance by Rutger was the highlight of the pumpkin party. With his glitter glove and silver dance shoes, Rutger sang and danced to Michael Jackson's hit song called Thriller. At the end of the pumpkin party, Pauly's heartfelt speech left everyone in total tears. "I just want to thank everyone for coming out. Until recently, I started believing in myself. My family and friends along with my virtual cadet classes taught me that I could accomplish anything that I put my mind to. Today, I marched alongside people who I totally look up to, and that made me feel great. So, be on the lookout for next year's Pauly's Pumpkin Party. It's going to be even bigger and even more fantastic," said Pauly. Afterward, the massive pumpkin party crowd cheered and applauded. Pauly Crumpit, aka the Marching Prince, won the award for Best Pumpkin Party of the Year in the city of Spirit Valley. Pauly's Pumpkin Party.